Even before the start of the race, the 32's bad luck continuing here at his home track as the field takes the green flag. He is still in the pit area getting worked on emergency. He will start the race one lap down. As Hughes returns to the track, he will lead the pack. Your first place car, the 91 of Dylan Gosby, he would lead the first 30 plus laps of this race before McEwen and the 40 team would take over. Cautions certainly the theme of the night, and lots of times cautions breed more cautions. Heading into turn 4 here, the 80 of Jamie Stewart having to check up from the car in front of him. Luckily able to regain control of that car before too much damage happens around him. And while it would turn into a very long night for the pit crew of the 08, as he would make numerous stops back to the pit area under almost every caution, and not to mention be involved in a few of them later on as well too. Stay tuned for more details on a battle brewing with the 08. Here leading to what they called the big one on the night. Multiple cars involved here around 3 and 4, and you'll see 4 of them involved at first. The accordion effect as one checks up, the 67 attempts to check up, the 5 ends up getting into the 67, and well, mayhem and pandemonium behind them ensues. As we attempt to go green once again after the big one, the 80 of Jamie Stewart not quite securing down that side of his car, and you can see here coming around the corner it is flapping around, eventually coming off, and it would bring out another caution and another restart. Fans certainly love the night races, as you're able to see a whole lot more from these cars as the race goes on, including that big shot of flame coming out the exhaust when a little bit of fuel gets dumped down and into there. As we follow this race along, the 29 very uncharacteristically ends up in the infield. We'll see how his race continues on later. On the next restart, we'll watch as quite a cloud of quick dry comes through and engulfs the entire pack. About middle pack down, I'm sure those drivers were on a hope and a prayer and just praying that nobody checked up in front of them. Luckily, everyone gets through safely and comes through for another lap. As we continue to follow along with the race, we knew something was brewing late in the race between these two drivers. Starting off maybe here as we freeze frame the red bumper and the black bumper around 1 and 2. They are beside each other. I don't quite get the start of this accident, but when they come back through 1 and 2, they are not going to make it through that turn, as we'll see it late here. Now, despite the fact the 08 taking the green flag here and the 29 being about 15 cars back of the lead car here, what do you think the chances are that these two will find each other once again here in the coming laps? Well, in a very polite PEI way, sometimes you just got to move somebody aside safely into the infield and allow the rest of the race to finish off. And that was round 3 of what I believe was the battle between the 08 and the 29 all night. We'll see what the reaction from the Prince Edward Island crowd was. I wonder what they thought of that. And with that, you would think it's done, but I guess there are still more points to be made, because I do not think that it was a coincidence that the 08 finally gets fired back up and back out onto the track in front of, yes, you guessed it, the 29. After a long night of restarts here, 8 to go, the end is in sight for both teams here who have been battling each other on the front end. Robin McEwen in the 40 continuing to move to the front with the best car of the night. Almost disaster for him though in the coming laps, as he will graze the outside wall coming across the start finish line. Another inch to the right could have been disaster for the Ford team, and his night would have been a lot different. courtesy of the Maritime Pro Stock Tour Facebook page. A great race recap picture here for the Lucas Oil 150 at Oyster Speedway. Only 2 different lap leaders. Dylan Gosby led the first 34. Robbie McEwen took it home on the next 116. We see rounding out the top 5, Jonathan Hicken, winner from Oyster Speedway earlier this year. Your Exide rookie of the race, the 80 of Jamie Stewart, your local Oyster Speedway driver, changing his number to the number 80, of course, as the 00 retired in honor of Scott Frazier. Top 10, Allison McKinnon in the 07. That was his goal. He wanted at least one top 10 on the tour, and he has got it. No one can take that away from you. Congratulations to the 07. Also another Island driver, Greg Proud, into 9th. And looking at the results over the season here, an incredible 16 Atlantic tilt float heat winners out of 27 races, and 3 of the last 4 winners coming from Prince Edward Island for the feature, as these drivers gear up for the big race tonight in Halifax with the Cat 250. Good luck to all of our Prince Edward Island drivers. They are certainly making us PEI proud. Dylan Blankhorn in the 67 retaining the top spot, but Jonathan Hicken starting to narrow that gap even closer. 8 points now separate the 2 competitors. Continuing with PEI competitors, the 91 of Dylan Gosby backing into 5th for Hines Racing. Greg Proud with the Hellcat for the Atlantic Dodge dealers into 8th. Chris Hughes, another rough outing for the 82 team for the Subaru of Moncton. It is into 9th place for them as they will continue to drop a little bit. Rounding out the top 10, the Iron Man from Prince Edward Island, it is Kent Vincent. He is looking for a bit of a rebound on his tough luck season as well. And good luck to all drivers and teams on the Maritime Pro Stock Tour as they will be tackling Scotia Speed World and the Cat 250.